Today we have with us Ms. Abha Tiwari, the DP of Air India with us. Hello ma'am, thank you so much for coming and joining us at ETCISO SecuFest 2025. Ma'am, in today's time, definitely DPO role has evolved and so is the regulation and guidelines in India. With DPDP Act coming on roll, with GDPR also in place, I think it's very difficult to cater to the right regulatory framework in today's time. So how do we can, find out that what is the right way to restart your journey where you were?
I'm very glad, Vanshika, that you raised this because this is one of the most pertinent question, and this really needs to be addressed. So, if you look at the regulatory disparities or variations that we have, so let's say India, we saw consent and legitimate use are the basis of processing. Europe, you have six other bases of processing, likewise Korea or Singapore or any other jurisdiction has different basis of processing, different rights sometimes. So, essentially, the principles are the same, but then rights and there could be variations in these privacy regulation. One of the most important things and one way that you can possibly ramp up your practice is pick the strictest one. You know what happens when you pick the strictest one, you're anyway able to comply the one that is not as strict or maybe does not give as many rights or maybe does not require as much. Having said that, be very mindful of how you're mapping. So for example, the consent requirement in India, you will have to process all the personal data based on consent. But if you are already complying to GDPR, you have various other bases such as maybe you were processing a certain data on the basis of contractual necessity. So there you might have to find that balance, notwithstanding the fact that privacy regulations are residency based. For the data subjects who are in Europe, you could have multiple bases. But for the data subjects who are in India, you will have just two bases, which is consent and legitimate use. And this is why, to a very careful calibration, a very, very careful consideration when you're mapping these regulations, rationalize them as much as you can. There will be outliers, and for those outliers, you will have to make sure that they are differently told and differently communicated. And again, this is a risk-based approach, so it depends upon what is the risk appetite of the organization, how much are you willing to comply with, and how well are you willing to comply with.
No, I think that's very well said, and I think it's a very new POV that you have given to us also, because I think that's very very important that you rethink that where you have to kickstart your journey and at what points. Very very critical. Even if I ask you about this event so far, and how has your experience been, coming to ETCISO Secure Fest, if I may just ask that.
Absolutely. So it's very impressive. The best part is that a lot of time, like I said, we have a regulation coming up, lot of regulatory changes happening across the world. And Vanchika, this is not a law. I say this, that this is a reform that we have to look at. So until today, what lawyers could address to technologists could address, it's not the same thing. It's no longer working in silos. So with this event that you're hosting, the best part is that you've got DPOs, you've got CISOs, you've got lawyers, you've got technologists. They're able to share and exchange, and it helps both the parties learn, understand, and there's so much, this event is so impressive and there's so much of learning that I myself have particularly gathered that I could only say thank you so much for doing it.
No, thank you so much for coming. I think I look forward to host you next time as well, and ETCISO is always there to address any of the queries that you have in near future. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.